Good morning, YouTube. This is Tar Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys have had a good Wednesday. I was a little sick last night, so I wasn't really in any condition to make a video. I'm feeling a little better this morning. But man, you guys just ate up this video, didn't you? I, I'm, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm grateful. I'm humbled. Um, wow. And you even got the 10 likes on the video. I mean, I said a while back that if we got a video to 10 likes, that I would kind of make a playlist for more in-depth content in regards to some looking at some of the parameters for stuff like severe weather, snowstorms, etc. But you guys actually did it. Thank you guys. Appreciate it a bunch. I don't mind doing that content, and I will get to work on that as soon as possible. I don't know how soon I'll have it up, but I'm gonna work on it as quickly as I can because there is something I have special planned before the end of the year. I'm sure you guys are going to love it. But man, yesterday was an incredible day for the channel. It really was. Because now we're sitting at 79 subs. We got what, 4 subs in, like maybe what, 5 6 subs in a day. That's wild. The numbers crazy. Just wow. You even see that I got a few haters here, but hey, I take that as a good thing because I mean, not everyone's gonna like what you're doing, and sometimes if you're doing something good, maybe there's some people that are angry about it, but that also means that you might be doing something right. But anyway, enough rambling about that. I am grateful for it, and I could ramble about it all day, but we got business to attend to here. Okay, so I want to talk about this. Guess what day that is? 23rd. I've been talking about that date for a while, and I figured eventually they were going to put something up here. And now we finally see that we have a day 4 slight risk. Very small area though right now, but we have Omaha involved in there, and just maybe to the east of Sioux Falls, but mainly towards eastern Nebraska and western Iowa and parts of northern Kansas and a tiny little sliver of Missouri involved in this slight risk for right now. Is there any chance that this could grow in size? Possibly, but I'm not sure yet. I'm going to go into why I'm still kind of uncertain about that. But also, let's go ahead and look at days 5, 6, 7, and 8. Predictability too low. Just further indicative of the active pattern we are about to go into. So let's start looking at these robust storm systems that are going to start coming in towards the end of the weekend. Just go ahead and roll this along. Oops, I didn't think it was that far ahead. Okay. Alright. So here is the tail end of our Arctic blast. And one thing that's I've noticed over the most recent trends here with the models, things seem like they're getting more complicated. And then I see this little piece of energy. This isn't anything to be concerned about, though, fortunately. It's not going to become a coastal storm from the looks of it. But we will be watching this piece of energy, because I do think that this will present a severe weather threat, maybe towards the Ohio Valley, towards the middle of next week, I would say. This is a positive. This has a positively tilted look to it for right now. Oop. It has a positively tilted look to it, so I do think the damaging wind threat's going to be higher with this one. This isn't going to. Can't rule out tornadoes, but there's still a lot of things that are uncertain being this far out still. And then there's another big storm system with a bigger piece of energy that comes in around the 27th and 28th. And this one looks pretty concerning. It has that neutral tilt to it, so we could maybe get all the above here. At least as far as wind and tornadoes. Hail, I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging. I might make another video on on these storm systems tonight if I'm feeling up to it. I've been just trying to grind through and just keep working because I'm trying to build up some money to make this channel even better. All right, so we've looked at the euro for the vorticity here, and we can also see that there's another big piece of energy towards the 30th, but this will clear out in time for Halloween, folks, so do not fret as far as that's concerned. Your Halloween can be spooky, but more than likely I don't expect it to be stormy. It might be snowy in the west though. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at the GFS. And the GFS always tends to be a bit more aggressive in its approach. It has these little streaks on there just like the euro. And this little feature here looks like it's a little bit stronger, but this is not gonna, this actually looks like it tries to go inland, but there's not really too much behind. There's really not like too much with that, so to speak, right now. I think it'll stay offshore. But this actually has a slightly more neutral tilt, and it's a little bit more robust looking on the GFS versus the euro. Euro's taking the more conservative approach, and this is what makes forecasting so difficult. When you have two high-end models like this, storms could really go either way. But dang, and then even now, like, you can almost see the amount of wind energy with this, especially as you look at these darker colors here, and it kind of holds that neutral tilt, which is a little bit concerning. It'll be interesting to see what the models do throughout the course of the day. I will be watching that. I always watch this stuff even while I'm at work when I have spare time, so that way I can try to make the best content I can on the channel. But here we are looking at the 26th, another big storm system rolls in, and this could be a severe weather event for the Ohio Valley. And then here's our system on the 28th, heading into the 29th. It looks a little weaker on the 29th right now, according to the GFS, which is really interesting. Normally, like I said, GFS is pretty aggressive, but it's kind of a different look here right now. Of course, the 06Z GFS is loading right now, but so it'll be interesting to see what that does. But obviously, I can't use it because we're probably only maybe 100 hours in. So we start looking into November now, and we have yet another big storm system that comes in. Maybe even another severe weather event for the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, maybe even the Southeast. Plenty of energy with these storm systems. This collision of warm and cold air masses is going to be something gnarly. That's for sure. And then, ooh, this is an ominous look. Even though this is right at the end of our model run, this has that slightly negative tilt look. So I'm definitely going to be highlighting this day right here towards the early part of November. But it looks like business is undoubtedly going to be picking up. This isn't a time to necessarily be scared, just be prepared and stay weather aware. There's myself and plenty of other weather YouTubers that cover this kind of stuff. There's of course the Weather Channel and many other options that you can keep track of all of this. But would like it if you kind of stick with me, though. I wouldn't mind that. Anyway, let's go ahead and try to look at some parameters here. And here's the thing about this. It's kind of difficult to look at stuff like the Cape values this far out. So I've moved all the way up to about 90 hours out, which is where our first severe weather threat is. And with these long range models, one discrepancy I have with them is the fact that they don't do a great job at picking up the intensity of the Cape. The short range models are usually best for that. I think throughout the course of the day, we'll start to see these Cape values kind of jump a little higher. Right now, we're at about maybe, close to 1,000. That's definitely not enough for a severe weather event, but there are other parameters there that will help overcome that. But I'm not too sure that these Cape values won't increase. I just don't see how they don't. Then here we go. Now we're starting to get into those higher Cape values. We're getting into the 1200s here. Usually you look for about 1500 for a pretty considerable severe weather threat. And that's what I've noticed over the years. And then towards the 25th and whatnot, you don't really see a lot. Even though we have a pretty robust storm system that's going to be heading over towards this region, and the Cape values just aren't really being picked up upon just yet around this area. Of course, given how far out we are, that doesn't surprise me. Really, the Cape values get updated whenever we get those weather balloons launched up into the air. Once we get those readings, usually the Cape values will get updated. But for right now, this is not really surprising to me. Towards the end of this model run, though, here's a considerable amount of Cape, and it's kind of alarming here. But we'll have to see how that progresses from that point. Oop. Oh, jeez. My computer's acting up. There we go. And then towards the end of the model run, we do get some higher Cape values towards the south and east, which is interesting. We'll have to see how that progresses as well. Today it looks like we're mainly leaning towards talking about the severe side of things. I might talk about the winter side a little bit more once I get home from work. Maybe even the gym. Try to see if I can sweat this stuff out, because I'm still a little bit sick right now, honestly. So here we go. We're rolling this along here. So here's our big storm system here. Here's a blizzard on the backside of this. It's 988 millibar low pressure. Very strong. Very strong. You can expect potentially blizzard and icy conditions even towards the Rockies here, maybe even towards the valleys. And then on the 24th here, you can see the well, actually this technically would still be the 23rd. Looking at the O3Z, it's technically going to be like 10, 11 o'clock. This looks like a multicellular mode from the looks of it as well. But we'll watch this roll along. We'll see some snow on the backside of this. Not as robust as what I was seeing before. But that's not the most surprising thing. Then it looks like we get a nice little bow echo here that pops up on Monday, heading into the Ohio Valley on Monday evening, and then rolls through on Tuesday. Then we get a new line of storms that pops up over towards the Ozarks. May affect the southeast on Tuesday afternoon, I would say. Doesn't really look super robust though. I'm not worried about that as much. And here's a new piece of energy right here. And that's one that I'm really interested in, because that looks like it may have the potential for not only a severe weather threat, but maybe even some flooding. Because this kind of has to look like these storms are going to be going over the same areas over and over again. So here's our next big storm system after that. This one goes to Colorado. Denver, it looks like you could potentially be getting snow towards the end of next week. And it may even bring an ice storm into parts of Nebraska and Kansas even. So we'll roll this along, and then it looks like a pretty considerable severe weather setup may be in place for the 28th. And then, wow, look at this. Pretty nice line here, but over towards the south here, this kind of has that slightly multicellular look. Not super robust on that, but we'll have to be watching that really closely. So this is towards the end of the model run, but it looks like by the 30th the severe weather threat's diminished, and it just looks like potential for maybe some heavier rain over towards the mid-Atlantic and the Long Island and Delmarva regions. I can't rule out severe storms yet. We'll have to see how that unfolds given how far out we are in the model run. Let's go ahead and look at the GFS, see what that has to offer us as well. Try to hurry up and finish this before my alarms go off. We'll just kind of put this in the loop here. Okay. For the most part, I think that it's gonna be the same thing with this. I'm thinking 24th. There's a severe weather threat here. Not quite as robust with the GFS actually. It's a little bit more on the conservative side, which is really interesting. You don't see that often, but there still is potential there. The GFS kind of uses more surface-based cape, whereas the Euro uses mixed layer cape. I kind of prefer looking at the mixed layer, but there are situations where surface-based cape can be more important. But it's a little bit harder to read surface-based cape sometimes. So here's the snow on the backside of this. This definitely looks like it has a colder trend with the GFS, which could potentially limit the severe weather just a little bit, but not by that much. We'll have to see what the next model has to offer here. So, as I said, plenty of model uncertainty here. It's definitely not going to make this forecast easy here. I'm kind of if you ask me, I'm kind of leaning more towards the Euro than I am the GFS, just given how reliable it's been throughout the year with just about everything. With earlier in the year in regards to snowstorms, hurricanes, etc. I'm kind of leaning just more towards the Euro in regards to its reliability. Not discounting the GFS at all, but eventually, usually, what will happen more than likely is the GFS will start to pick up on the same thing the Euro is, just a little bit later. That's all. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys on this video. Again, I appreciate you guys so much for making that video explode. I'm so grateful. And I'm gonna keep the content coming, for better or worse. Because good grief, I've been going through it the last few days. But hey, onward we move. But anyways, this has been Tire Metalhead Weatherman. If you liked what I did in this video, drop me a like, leave me a comment. Hey, you can even dislike, I don't care. But yeah, just I appreciate you guys again. I'm gonna quit rambling before my alarm goes off. But I hope you guys have a good Thursday, and I will see you probably tonight.